All right, this is Unit 8 review number 2. We're going to do numbers 5 and 6 here. So again, Unit 8 review number 2, looking at numbers 5 and 6. So we have y equals x squared minus 5x and y equals negative 2x squared. So we're going to graph both of those. All right, probably the easiest thing to do here is to graph them on the calculator. You could factor this, pull out the x, and make it x times x minus 5, so it's going to go through 0 and 5. You should know that it is going to be a u opening up because of the x squared, so that is just going to be a parabola. All right, so that's the first one coming down, and then coming back up. Okay, but again, you can graph that on the calculator as well. Y equals negative 2x squared is going to be a u that's going to be upside down because of the negative. It's going to go through the origin. And so it's going to look like this. So the reason that we are going to be rotating is going to be right in here, between the blue and the red lines there. All right, it says it wants us to rotate it around the y-axis. So rotating around the y-axis, that's going to be right there. So my rotation is going to be a right-left. My area here, technically I can do it as either a top-bottom or as a right-left based off of the graph that we have. However, when you look at the original equation, you can't solve this for x. So therefore, solving this when and that would be for a right-left for area, you would need to solve for the x, get that by itself, instead of being in terms of y. That just doesn't work. So we really aren't going to be doing this as a right-left. We're kind of forced to do it as a top-bottom, which is fine. So that just means we use the second method, so it's going to be the method of shells. And when I do so, I'm going to have the integral here of 2 pi x and then top minus bottom dx. That's the base that we're going to use. So now 3 decisions again. One is what the bounds are. 2 is how do you plug the number in. That one we don't have to worry about that because the y-axis is just x equals 0, so that just doesn't affect this. And then the top and the bottom. So that's pretty simple. So this is the integral of 2 pi x. Top bottom, like I said there, it's just going to be your blue minus your red. Again, blue is on the top of that shaded region, so the blue there is the negative 2x squared. And then we have to subtract that x squared minus 5x. And I do caution, make sure you are careful there that you are going to be distributing that negative all the way through. All right, so now for the bounds, I'm looking again, if I'm doing this as a top and a bottom, I need to find the bounds here on the left and the right. So the x value there is going to be 0, and then the x value for this one is going to be 1.667. So again, you can either set these two equal to each other and solve it like that, or find that on the calculator. Take this and plug this into the calculator, and when you do so, you're going to end up with 12.12 units cubed. All right, number 6. So we start off with a linear equation, y equals 3x minus 2, and then you have the y squared equals x plus 4. Again, whenever you see a y squared, that's typically a dead giveaway that you're going to be using right-left for the area. We'll see if that holds true here. All right, so y squared equals x minus 4. If I solve that for the y, I'm going to do this one first just because that's the more complicated one. When I solve this for y, I'm going to have y is equal to plus or minus root x plus 4. All right, so that's going to be a square root function with the top and the bottom pieces of it because of the positive and the negative. It's going to be moved to the left 4 because of that positive 4 there on the inside. So drawing this one in, it's going to look like this. All right, now the next one we have is the 3x minus 2. That's the first one there. So when we go through and do this, this is going to be right here. And that's my negative 2. And then my slope is going to go up 3 and to the right 1. And so that's going to put me right there. So draw that through. I missed my point there. And that's going to be the enclosed region that we're going to be rotating in. I'm going to shade that in. All right, so that is the area that I'm going to be taking and rotating around. All right, so what am I rotating it around? The line y equals negative 4. So y equals, remember that's going to be going down. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 down here. Y equals negative 4, there it is. Means my rotation here is going to be a top-bottom. So rotation is a top-bottom. My area, we already said, is going to have to be a right-left here. If you take a look at that, you don't want to go from the top to the bottom. You end up coming back on yourself. Right, that's not what we want. So we're going to do this as a shell problem, but this time from the perspective of a right, left. That means it's going to be the integral of 2 pi y, right minus left, and that's dy. All right, so this time, again, 3 decisions, the bounds. Again, where does that y equals -4 go? That's going to go right in here, and then the right minus left. So we're going to integrate here. This is going to be the 2 pi. Now that y equals -4, since it is below the shaded region that we're rotating around, that is going to go in the back. So this is going to end up being y minus the -4, or really y plus 4. They're going to do the right side minus the left side. The right side is the blue line. I'm going to take some time here to solve that for my x now. So y equals 3x minus 2. Add the 2, y plus 2 equals 3x. Divide, and you have 1/3 y plus 2/3. So not the nicest one because we have thirds in there, but that's what we end up with. So 1/3 y plus 2/3. So that again is the right side, and we're going to subtract from that. I'll just put this in parentheses. I'm going to subtract there the left side, which is the y squared equals the x plus 4. Again, you want to solve for the x, so that's going to be y squared minus 4. All right, so the last step now is to figure out the bounds. Okay, and then we can begin to actually solve this. So if I'm looking for the bounds here, again, if I'm doing this as a right to the left, that means I need to figure out the bounds on the bottom and the top. That is going to be -2 down here at the bottom, up to 2.333 on the top. Again, they are the y values because we have everything in y here. I'll take my 2 pi out. Not much more I would really simplify here. You could simplify here if you wanted to in the middle. All right, eventually, if you're going to do this by hand, you would have to FOIL this. Okay, but for right now, we're just going to math 9 this, and you get 355.045 units cubed. That's it.